Welcome to episode 6 of the Sunday Soul Search. Thank you for joining us. So, since my little moan last time, we've got an extra few subscribers.
Have we?
I wasn't moaning. I was just sort of saying, if you're watching it,
Putting it out with love.
Yeah,
if you'd like to subscribe to our channel, please do. It would be amazing to have you on board.
Yes.
And if we make 1,000 followers, then we're going to do a live. So you can all keep your eyes out peeled for that, can't they?
well, they might not want to, then that's what
No,
scared
they do want
the
a live.
subscribers we got. So yes, so thank you for those that have listened and jumped on and done a little bit of subscribing. And today, we always jump from one thing to another.
We do.
Well, we sort of do. We sort of don't. I can just say as well, though, we had some great feedback again about last week's show, and then someone else mentioned about the mental health one we did, which was only a loose mental health because it was more about art, how we feel, how we cope with our mental health. So they've asked if we will be going into more depth with that. Which I said we will. But again, comment under the YouTube or Spotify channel because people see people interacting. I think they're more likely to
jump on board
or turn it off. And
go do something less boring instead.
But today, what are we talking about, Polly?
Well, yeah. My experiences last week, we often jump onto our experiences, but I've seen an awful lot of horrible trolling of recent times, and so I would like to cover trolling in particular, scams maybe as well. But it has got ridiculous, and what sparked it off...
I know people are watching this on an internet sort of way and on a streaming way, but should we explain what trolling is?
People, there's been obviously things like death threats and all sorts of things, hasn't there, on on social medias and YouTube things. I've seen so many things that really disturb me, basically, and probably one of the actually worst things about the internet, other than scammers and hackers. So this one particularly, I mean, I just like to watch things. I like to, I don't watch much, look at Facebook a lot, but when I do, I might scroll around, and I'm not usually looking at people's posts, funnily enough. But what I am doing is like videos that come up of old things, and then I get into watching that, and little clips of it. Katie Price popped up, right?
Can we name Katie Price?
We can, because I'm actually in her favour.
I used to actually like her in her day. I think she was a very good-minded businesswoman. I think it's a shame what's going on with her.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on with her. That's the point. It's the trolling. Yeah. It's the trolling and social media.
And people who think they know.
I mean, you could say, because obviously I do know that, I'm not as big as a user of social media. I go on it for business more than anything and the odd thing, and I'm a digital creator, so I've got to promote more on my page, but apart from that, I can't bother to look at anything. But Kerry Katona and Katie Price have been running a sort of live podcast on stage.
Have they?
I can't think what it's called, but it's just come to an end, I think, where they've been travelling on stage, got a sofa, a bit like our sofa we used to have, and they're doing a bit of singing, which we won't be doing because we can't.
We can't. We can chuck out a bit of karaoke.
But let's not do it. And just general chit-chat, because they've both been right under the mill. So actually, both of them together, quite an unusual combination of friendship, that both have suffered massive amount of negative feed from social media and the newspapers and in general from trolling.
Well, this is what sparked it off for me. Now, obviously, if anybody follows Katie Price, which I don't follow, but she just, like I said, pops up on my internet because I've watched one thing and then another one comes. That's how it works, algorithms and all that. Anyway, obviously a lot of people comment on her appearance. Now, obviously, she is very, very thin. I don't know if you've seen pictures of her recently. And to me, that would be worrying rather than anything. It actually worries me that she's so thin. I mean, there's not a lot on her. But it seems even people on my Facebook page, as Facebook friends, have commented, and I've seen them, on her appearance. Now, I know that in one way she's putting herself out there in the media. She's doing it. She's putting herself there. And there was obviously all the horrible comments about her. She probably doesn't even read them. She probably doesn't, She
probably hasn't got time to read them, but that said, she probably is getting someone telling her some of them. So, you've only got to look at Caroline Flack. Doesn't matter if they're a celebrity, it doesn't matter if they're famous, doesn't matter how much money they've made, it doesn't matter how much money they've lost.
Yeah.
Because both Kerry and Katie have over the last few decades, I suppose. They're still human beings.
They're still are.
So
But
what's going on?
what actually really did it for me then is the fact that then, like I said, because I'd watched a clip or what have you of her, a small video of her, then there was videos of Harvey that, again, she videos. Now, when she does video him, to be honest, I think it's amazing. You know, I mean, she's done one thing right. You know what I mean? She does love her son, and she does, you know, put the humour of him out there, which I think is lovely. But the amount of horrible things they were saying to a disabled boy, man, because everyone finds it funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are things that are funny, that are humorous or what have you. But actually saying something, I mean, you know, Harvey Price is funny. You know, I don't know if you saw the video of the
I see
thing on
clippets, but I don't. Like I
Loose
said,
Women when he said a really bad C word, but that was actually funny.
Yeah.
But the fact that people outwardly will say something vile to, well, to anybody who they don't know them, everyone seems to think they know them because they're in the media.
Well, they know what they've been given. They know what the media's putting across for them.
To a boy who is got however many disabilities and problems and, you know, all the issues that he has, I know, and again, he probably won't be reading them because...
Why was he on Loose Women then?
Younger. He was being interviewed with Katie Price about, you know, how they deal with people that are unkind, basically.
I suppose, I mean, I think each their own, it's up to them. I'm a bit more personal filming my family, even my grandchildren. I'm mindful that my grandchildren are actually my grandchildren, not my children. I've become more aware that if I'm putting my young grandchildren's faces on Facebook, you don't know who's looking at it.
Yeah.
There's always something that sits in my head from a long, long time ago when someone said to me, when the internet became so big and we were all starting to use it, because obviously we're old enough to remember when it didn't exist. But I remember someone saying to me, when you go on the internet, you're not going on the internet. You're opening up the internet into your home, into your life. And that's how people need to remember that. You're not going on, like if you're coming on to watch us, you're not coming on to watch us. You're opening up a computer, a device, a phone, whatever it is, and you're allowing that internet into your home, which is, you know, people need to be more mindful of that. Also, you can delete things, or other people can delete it if, you know, YouTube don't like us, they can delete it. But sometimes, and we said this last week with our shows on SPTV, those are out there. Once they're out there, you can't really delete what you said or didn't.
Well,
say.
in the cloud.
Yeah, because it's there. Take it back. So I think you need to be mindful of what you're doing. But she is a celebrity. She has bought that Harvey up on her own, with obviously the help of, well, dare I say it, because actually there's all that publicity about them now, isn't there?
Yeah.
So we're not actually going to talk about it. She has brought that boy up on her own, and that is her child. So how she, now he's old enough, puts that across, that's up to them. So I don't understand why people are so nasty.
Horrible.
Other than you might sit there and think, oh, I wouldn't do that. Well, that's fine. Think that. You can think that, can't you? Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that. But why would everyone shoot at the people like that?
Oh.
But do you think, because I noticed it more in the dreaded lockdown.
What?
The trolling became worse. Prior to lockdown, I used to get the odd little threat on Instagram, which didn't bother me because I didn't go on Instagram.
Oh, I only got Nigerian princes.
Yeah, well, I seem to attract the wrong kind. We've worked that out. But I'd get the odd little threat on Instagram, never really Facebook, and I never really got all those gaslighting, scamming men that look like they're in an American Marine, you know,
uniform. I had loads of them.
No, but I never used to get them prior to COVID. And I used to laugh and think, who says I want to be with a Marine from America anyway?
Well, they're not, are they?
But this is what I'm saying. I think they got worse. That all got worse, didn't it, during COVID, because people were on there. But I also think, I mean, my Instagram post would be the odd little church goer or the odd little church community. But when I say community, I don't mean your random church up the street. It would always be someone that's a bit more extreme in their religious beliefs, telling me that I will go to hell and the devil's going to
working with the devil.
Yeah, and I'm going to burn. And I thought, come on, I've done that in a previous life, so you know, you're not scaring me.
Yeah,
but I
been
never
done that
on the t-shirt. But I never went on Instagram enough to wear, and if I did see it, I just deleted it because obviously Instagram's my business. I don't have any personal account on there. It's all business related, and my business post from Facebook links to it, so everything's business on there. So the occasional I see I've got a message and it's like telling me I'm going to burn in hell and I'm a sinner.
I haven't had too many, as in inboxes like that, to be fair.
I've always been in my inbox because they have to inbox.
Yeah.
But that, I just laughed off. I honestly think since COVID, people have become... I've removed myself from a lot of community groups because I cannot stand understand. You can get a little bit hooked on it. You'll see someone write something, and then you see everyone following, and you start looking at it. And all of a sudden, I've got to say to my staff, "Do you know what? Turn it off. Turn it off." Because people are really quite unkind.
Portsmouth name and shame. Oh my lord.
Well,
it is really hideous. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think there's good in there somewhere. Obviously, you know, nobody wants to live next to a paedophile. Nobody wants to, you know, be involved in that sort of thing.
That's good as well, though, because then what if someone wrongfully gets accused of that and there's a vigilante group outside? I'm not saying, because
there was a Netflix thing about that.
I'm
about
not
some
condoning that.
Lads, and one killed himself because they got accused and they hadn't done
it. So it's still dangerous.
Yeah.
Because actually, until there's evidence, hard evidence, I know we have these stings that go on, as they call them, that go on in Portsmouth and probably go around actually. But it's still worrying, because what if the evidence was wrong or there wasn't enough evidence? So again, and they're filming it. I don't actually care. If you've caught a paedophile, great, bang to rights. Got caught them, the police actually charge them, because I'm not so sure what goes on with our criminal justice system over in the UK at the moment. But if you catch them and they get sentenced, that's great. But do we need to see the video?
No, I think that's it. And everything is videoed these days.
Yeah.
It's like if something kicked off in Tesco or the co-op round the corner from me, you can guarantee that something's kicking off. And we live in such a nice area.
And come to Portsmouth.
And then, you know,
it used to be a seaside town.
Everyone's on their phone, you know, recording the problem, and then it's all over Facebook. Or whatever's happened. It is awful, isn't it?
It's awful. That's why I just feel, when we were all in lockdown and we were all kept in, well, I was, because I didn't.
I went on the longest dog walks ever.
I went on the longest drives up the seafront and countryside. And obviously I worked in the hospital.
I spent a lot of time in the range because it was open.
When the shops were all shut and you only had to go like your foods, that was awful. And I think that was awful. But I think where I found other things to do, like I painted my hall because I lived by the sea then, didn't I? I painted my hall. I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll just tidy up my hall. And then I was like, I started rearranging things. So I used my time to do things indoors I wasn't doing. And then I started to write my book that I still haven't really got past chapter 1.
I've got chapter 1.
Yeah, chapter 1's 5 years on. So I'm going to get on chapter 2.
The joint one was put together.
I did online courses. I did things to keep my mind active. And obviously we worked on the channel, the spiritual channel. So there were ways and means to do things without having to go on your computer and troll. But I suppose if you were lonely...
Oh, yeah, you could easily...
And you were angry with what was going on in the world... Is that what turns some people?
But there's a thing, though. I mean, there was another thing I saw, and I don't know if anybody follows... what are they called? Bex and Martin and Bex on Facebook. They're really quite funny, and they've got a daughter who's now really on the scene of, I think she's 18, 19, something like that, Casey. And she put a dress on. She looked really lovely, and then some vile person commented on her weight. I mean, she's like an 18, 19-year-old girl. Again, it's like, I mean, back in the day, we were in the 70s, we were all skinny little things, you know, we got food on the table, like, you know,
the majority was smaller, yeah, because I think we had, there was rations and we ate less processed food.
How far back are you going? To the war?
No, there was still rations to a degree, but I still went to school with people that, I mean, I wasn't big back then. I had having children and just stress of my life put weight on me. But there were people in my school that were slightly larger, but not
hugely.
It's our way of life. It's fast food, chocolate on the tills when you go through,
and too much
and
work,
process.
not enough, too much stress.
Meals on the go because you can't literally turn off from work. There's a lot of reasons we're an overweight society.
This girl, I mean, I wouldn't have a clue. You know, I'm not very good at saying this is what size you are. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have a clue what size you are. No, looked in your clothes, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? I know what size I am. And to me, it doesn't matter how big anybody is, as long as I like them, as long as they're a decent person. You know, it doesn't matter to me if they had 3 eyes, as long as they're a decent person, they perhaps wouldn't be.
So you've gone from like Katie Price people commenting that she's too skinny, and then you're saying there's this one with a woman on this
girl. Everything she does, it's just for fun. It's just nice. There's nothing offensive about what they do. It's just nice and fun. You know what I mean? I followed her because I followed Martin and Bex, which I find really funny. So yeah, it was just a kind of comment, and it turns out because she'd made a little thing about it. But this guy that commented, she obviously looked into his details, to see what, he was so special. But he'd got a daughter as well, and you think, how I would never say to my children anything horrible like that, nor would I say to another child or young person or anybody. I wouldn't say, oh, you're fat, you're overweight.
We're in the business of being kind to people.
But I think any decent person would be just kind.
And we know that some people in this business are still not kind. They might look kind, and behind the backs they're some of the worst people. They're some of the worst people and trollers. But I wasn't perfect growing up. I was probably deemed a bully in some of the ways I made people choose who to hang around with, me or my other friends, if we fell out. I look back over those times and reflect that I was, probably trying to find my independence, and probably wasn't aware how, what's the word? I have been accused of that. I'm quite independent, quite outspoken, and I think as a child I struggled with that. So I was quite shy and immature in some ways, but outspoken and knew my own mind in others. So I didn't understand my own head, what was going on. And I do look back at some of my school times, more my senior school, and think, you weren't particularly nice there, Jane.
I think we all have those
and
moments.
That's part of growing up.
You have to find where you fit in.
As I got older, I didn't like it if anyone in my group or friends would go, "What's the state of her?" And I've probably done it. I know I've done it. But as I got older, I started thinking, that's really not nice. That's really not kind. So when I hear people in our line of work doing it, I just sit there and think, blimey, God forbid what your clients are thinking.
Well, no. And everyone's got something to bring to the table.
But I don't get you say you wouldn't talk to your children like that. No, I wouldn't talk to my children like that, even though they say I'll probably talk to them horrible anyway, because I'm always moaning about something. But, they're not even children, they are grown-ups, by the way. But my dad, love him, he's been gone 8 years. I am very much like him, but I like to sound the kinder version. I was outspoken as him. But he would, if I put a bit of weight on, and I did, as soon as I had my eldest son, he's 36, my weight did fluctuate all the time. And I'm an emotional eater, so I know a lot of mine's down to emotions. He'd go, RJ, carrying a little bit of weight around the old middle there, aren't you? Is that a bit tight, what you got on? It'd often make little remarks like that. And you'd go around there and you'd just look at him and go, cheers, Dad. And I remember when my second husband went, I'm not lining up for a third, by the way, that someone thought I was at the weekend, didn't they? Thought they'd see me out on a hen do and I was wearing the veil. No, I was not. There is no wedding, I can assure you. But I remember when he went, my dad went, I think it's because you put on weight, that he'd left me because I was fat.
No.
Even my older brother, who probably isn't going to watch my YouTube, so it don't matter. He might do, but I doubt it. He went, well, because you have put a bit of weight on, Jane. So my dad and my brother have very similar male chauvinistic ways there. Yeah. Is it something sometimes how you've been brought up? I'm not saying we were brought up badly.
Maybe, but I think as well, it was very different it was different back in the day about what you might say, and I guess if you're pretty strong-minded, but at the same time, I wouldn't, unless I was worried, like somebody was, when I say morbidly obese, and they needed to lose weight for their health, I don't care what they look like, I want them to be the healthiest version of that they can.
But it's none of our business. I think that's what I've learned. It's no one's business what you look like. I worry about all these people. Obviously I'm a vitamin technician, but all these people doing the weight loss injections to try and look better. I don't care that they're looking slim from looking fat. That isn't what I worry that the weight they're not dealing with the emotional reason why they've put weight on in the first place.
Yeah, and the fact that they're putting something in which is often they're trying to get on the cheap.
But is that not trolling? There's so much you could put trolling to, because you turn on your internet, you turn on your Facebook, everyone's putting filters on. We clearly do not put filters on this show. This is how we look, so we don't care. The people are putting filters on, they're making themselves look like they've got this perfect life, fit relationship, perfect children, perfect meals. I don't care what you're eating for dinner, quite frankly. I've got it all to do, be bothered to cook my own dinner these days. But there's lots of pressure put on. That's like a form of trolling, because
it's definitely controlling.
It's controlling in a trolling way. Because you're pushing an agenda of you should look like this, you should be this size, you shouldn't be... We
had a conversation when myself and Jane and a couple of other friends, we went for your birthday, didn't we, to the Cotswolds, and we went to a witchy thing.
We went to a witchy tea room for witchy afternoon tea.
Very cool. And we had this conversation that you just got to get to a point where it doesn't matter what you look like, as long as you're healthy, as long as you're happy, you know, who cares? Because it would not matter to me if I had a friend that was like a size 4 or size 30, as long as they were a nice person and going to have my back when I needed them, and vice versa. As long as they, you know, that's my criteria for.
But this is why I think all the celebrity stuff, people get so wrapped up into the celebrity's lifestyle. I mean, they are only human. They are just, yeah, all right, they earn a little bit more than us. Not quite a lot more.
It's sad.
Quite a lot
I mean,
more than us.
people, because like you said, like going back then, it's like, why are they so bitter? Why can't they just be happy for someone? You know what I mean? Why not?
But
Why
don't
make up all these
we
stories?
know this from our beliefs that when someone's unkind, and believe you me, you know I've had quite a few of my own friends be unkind to me over the years. I don't know if it's because I went down this path spiritually, or people just didn't like, maybe they like the nasty Jane, I don't know, maybe they like the outspoken nasty version. Now they don't understand why I don't lose my temper every 5 minutes. I don't know. I mean, I never lost my temper every 5 minutes anyway, but I was outspoken and I was quite fiery. I mean, I've still got that. I just know how to control it.
Yes.
I just know how to control it. But I wonder, and we've said this before, it's like a reflection of them. Because if they're attacking you, so if someone went, oh, look at you, Jane, you've put some weight on. Yes, I have. I have put on some weight. I have a reason why I've put weight on, but that's my business. It's a bit like, well, what's it to do with you? How's it affecting you? You're not the one getting up in the morning in pain, struggling to get about because both your legs don't work now. Not the one that has to drive everywhere because walking has become quite uncomfortable. So how dare you go, oh, Jane, you put some weight on. And again, if someone's lost weight, we know of our age group, menopause affects people. Majority will put weight on in strange areas, but some people do lose it because your thyroid changes and you could go underactive or overactive. So what has happened to this lovely community of women that should be supported? Remember the old
men, it's men.
I think they're like I said, that male chauvinist, and they're doing a lot of that, aren't they, on TV at the moment for the kids at school? What's it called? I can never say it. Monoganism? Is it monogamous? Where where the boys are growing up into a bit of a male chauvinist thing, looking down at women, seeing women as just.
I don't know what that word is.
I am terrible, so I can't. Yeah, and it's in my head, but it's been all over the news. That's been all over social media, and there's a lot of these calling it something. It's all to do with boys in teenage years.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, but I don't
can't.
Know
yeah, it's bugging me. But that again. That's because they could be in a family where the man is still a little bit male chauvinist and old fashioned, but they're also looking at all this internet stuff and seeing that women, I think a lot of men think women have got too outspoken over the decades. I remember when I used to go out pre-COVID, when I was out a lot, the group of people that I knew from years back when I used to go out as a teenager would go, you lot are scary when you walk in the pub. You're like men. When you drink and you're all loud and you're like a bunch of men. And I used to laugh because I thought, we're not scary. We're just very confident and in control of what we're doing. Yeah. I think drunk women are obviously a pain in the bum. I agree with that bit. But I always have my drink very well, thank you. But I sort of get that. So maybe men think, oh, look at them women coming in. Scary Mary from the dairy. People think I'm intimidating anyway. Both my ex-husbands thought I was intimidating. They both struggled to ask me out because they weren't sure whether I'd say yes or punch them.
To be fair, I never met any of Jane's husbands. However, we did go on a retreat a few years back, good few years back now, and this guy was trying it on with me, then trying it on with our friend, and then we'd both sort of, nah. And then looked at Jane, and Jane sort of gave him the death stare, and it was like, all right, bother then.
Well, I think more that he knew I'd sussed him out. He was a male chauvinist, and I don't care if he's watching. He was a very male chauvinist. Thought women were a pawn to him, some kind of tool, and that's the problem I think with men with me. They look at me and think she's not a pushover, and because I have probably an air where they're not sure what I'm going to do. I mean, growing up it was a bit of an hardship because obviously people were too scared to ask me how to go out of me. Now I think it's funny because I'm not like that as much now, and actually more people tend to talk to me in general because they just like to be talking to me. But yeah, it is funny, and that's where the trolling shifted, because when we were young, you'd be out with people more. You wouldn't be on social media. So were we trolling then? But in person, where we go, state of that.
think some people still do that.
You'd go outside and hide from somebody and say it, but you can't do that now.
Nice, as much as that's not a nice thing to do, you're not necessarily saying it out loud. That conversation
probably was.
Maybe you did. But then, well, if it was a conversation behind somebody's back, which still is not nice, once that conversation's gone, it's gone. Whereas when it's on the internet, like you said, once you've opened the door to that, then you've got that streaming and you can look back on it, and so can however many other million people. Then that's where it is constant. And if people are then contacting them or, harassing them or what have you, they're going to have that all day. And this is where, I've read things or watched documentaries of being death threats and,
Well, there's a thing on at the moment called, I keep seeing glimpses of, I don't know what day it is on the week on one of the mainstream TVs, and it's the TikTok murders.
I've not watched that yet.
I haven't watched it because it's not really appealed to me, but I'm not a lover of TikTok. I used it a couple of times to promote our fair the other week because I knew people would see it, and you can do better reels on it than you can on Facebook, so I just used it for that. But I really don't like TikTok. I don't like the fact children are using it. I find it quite worrying. It's like all these social media things, they're just expanding. And how are you gonna control children using it? And then you've got all the trolling to deal with as well. It doesn't go through enough at school face to face without everything that comes with it. So I think TikTok to me is a little bit. I mean, I know everyone goes, "Oh, the TikTok shop." I think
there was something though, because I remember my daughter getting bullied on Snapchat, and that was when she was young, and that's when they lasted for like 10 seconds, and then they disappeared.
So that was a great way to troll someone, wasn't it?
Luckily,
it
though,
puffed away like the
invisible man. My daughter was savvy enough to screenshot them, so got it sorted out.
See, that's horrible because obviously your oldest is not much. It's the same age as...
My oldest is 34.
Yeah, it's a little bit younger than Lewis. I remember when I had Lewis and Amy, there's 4 years between them, the internet was the plug-in, dial out, warm it up for a bit. Yeah, it didn't always work great at night. And I could control what they did. And we just talked about this before we come on live about the DS Nintendos, which are that's the Switch in there.
Yeah.
And we were saying what games our children had and what age. I was really strict. None of my children, even Drew, even though he's the youngest and was in a totally, I felt like, because of the age gap, I'd like jumped decades. And there's this old mum picking him up from the school, and all these friends' mums, they were like their oldest children, where I've got like two really like ones going into teenage years. And I still didn't let any of them have a phone until I was about 13, including Drew. And my argument was, if they're going to junior school and infant school and I'm picking them up, what the hell do they need a phone for?
No, of course they don't need a phone.
And when they went to junior school, the school was only up the road from our house. So I'd get to a point when they're set, I sort of weigh them up. They're all different. They were all at different stages. He was usually attached to me anyway. And then all of a sudden she wasn't. That was even weirder. I would judge them on their confidence, and I'd start to allow them to walk so far home, and I might meet them on the corner, and then it went on and on from that. They still didn't have fun because I only lived around the corner. They knew where to find me. And if I went to work, I worked around school. I worked in the evening and I had a babysitter, or their dad would have them. It depends what I was doing. But they didn't get a phone until they went to senior school. Because
I think Joel was about 13.
Yeah.
Definitely 12.
So the kids have got phones in their hands now, so then they can get on TikTok and YouTube. And then, like, when they're on YouTube, I'm just sitting there sometimes fascinated, thinking, what are you doing on YouTube?
Yeah.
And I know there's a kids channel, apparently. But,
there is YouTube Kids, which is hideous.
But you're still letting them get access to something.
Yeah.
And I remember I had parental control on my TV, right, probably up until a few years ago. I thought, well, Jane, they are grown up, she can take it off now. But obviously now I've got my younger two grandsons coming round, which are 4 and 1. So obviously the 1-year-old he has actually worked out the controls. He does walk around them. Daddy's trying to chase him, take him off. But even with the 4-year-old, he's watching films older than mine probably watched.
Oh God, mine was watching Disney stuff for years.
Yeah.
Years and years.
So it's really hard.
Yeah.
And then I've got like my oldest grandson, who will be 16 in January. And because, as you know, it's this family dispute, although we text each other, which is lovely, I don't really see him. But I worry about what's going into his 16th year. I wonder what life...
Oh, you think, I mean, you couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want to know.
It's scary.
Because you can access anything, can't you?
Exactly.
You can access anything.
And obviously, again, I'm the nan. I could say I'm just the nan. That's how I've been made to feel. I'm nobody actually in their eyes. Not their eyes, but the way it's been made. It upsets me because I haven't got that contact no more to go, how's things really? How's this going? We text, but you can't really get a lot in text. And I just hope that if God forbid anything was going on, I've always kept my door open for him and said, look, you know where I am, this is where you can find me. Because there has been times in his younger teens that he'd ring me and go, Nan, where are you? And once I was on a train going to Brighton you know where I am if you need me, but I was always out partying before COVID. But I went, I'm on the way to Brighton, we're going on like a jolly day. And he went, I went, what's up? And then I panicked and thought, oh my God, what's wrong? I went, do you need me to ring somebody? And he went, no, I wanted to, and I can't remember, he wanted to borrow a tenner. Actually, I was shocked because I thought he was 13 at the time. And I went, do you want me to ring Auntie Amy? I expect Auntie Amy will lend it to you. But I'm on the train, panicking, thinking, oh my God, why's he ringing me? What's wrong with him? And it is. He just wants a tenner. But yeah, it's scary. I don't know what his friend's like now. I don't know what he's like. He seems okay when I'm texting him. And, that is his mum's responsibility, I know. But as his nan, and he's my first grandchild.
Yeah.
I do really worry about him. And then I've got my granddaughter, my only granddaughter. She's just turned 11 and already is emotionally upset with everything that's been going on. Such prime candidates to be trolled or attacked.
So, gosh, yeah.
It is scary. I think it's a scary world, the internet.
I mean, it's still bad with lots of, like we said, people are out there, or normal people that are, because everyone does the internet. So everyone, the dog does. We
know it's good. It's good. Look, we're doing this, so it's good. Well, it'd be even better if you watched it.
Yeah, do watch it.
We know it's good. We do a lot of work on the internet because it helps us business-wise. It gives us more access to the world, so it's good that way. FaceTime, so we can talk to our friends abroad and we can talk to relatives abroad. So that side of it's really
abroad,
good.
Yeah. With colleagues abroad.
So there's lots of positives to it, and I know like when dogs are always going missing, which is always a worry. That's good because people share and they get that doing. The cat one makes me laugh.
Oh yeah, why'd you let your cat out?
Why'd you let your cat? Well, cats are meant to go out, people. Yeah. Just in case you don't know that. In my day, you didn't have a house cat.
There's no such thing as a house cat.
If you want to buy an expensive cat, I suggest you're living in the wrong place. Cats are, do you know that I've just been looking at stuff on cats about how they help us heal, how their purr tunes into our chakras. Yeah.
Love them.
And I just think, leave these poor cats alone. If they're dossing around on someone's car bonnet, they want them to be. Yeah. If they've gone in someone's house, of course they have. Liberty takers. I think cats are. Literally. Oh yeah, this is where I might hang out, but I'll be back when I'm back. Yeah.
And if you've got any treats, even better.
So I don't know if these cats are trolling each other and putting these posts up.
They just like taking the mick.
But I mean, there are some good things about the internet. But I think the trolling is, obviously that is our subject today. That is got worse. But is it only Katie Price that upset you, or did something else upset you?
No, just generally, I just think it's getting worse and worse. And going back to people that have taken their own lives, I think that people need to start thinking a little bit more about what they're doing. They, like Jane said earlier, they're human beings. Whether they've chosen to put themselves out there as actors, actresses. If that's a word, I think we're all saying actors.
Celebrities. They're in the celeb. Well,
yeah,
could be
and the celebrities comes in many ways. You can be celebrity anything.
The thing is, as a celebrity, just because we see them as a celebrity doesn't mean behind the scenes they're not actually shy individuals. Because a lot of people that go out and become quite well known, even famous actors, actually are quite withdrawn. What's the word? Introvert.
I know there's a lot that have got bipolar.
Yeah, so they come out themselves when they're acting and doing stuff like that.
ADHD, or even there's lots of directors that are autistic.
Yeah, so it isn't right. None of it is right, and actually, you catch somebody that their mindset is just not in a good place,
or on the wrong day.
Well, the wrong day. If you catch me on the wrong day, you're going to wish you never trolled me. I can tell you. But if your mindset's down, that one nasty comment, it's enough to push somebody over the edge. And even, I mean, like I said, I've had lots of strange things happen with friends over the last few years where I've suddenly realised they're not as probably nice about me as I had been about them. I mean, normally if I've got something to say, I'll tell them to their face and it's over and done with. But even hearing that what they're saying about me behind my back is upsetting, and I suppose that's the old school version where, like you said, they're talking about you behind the back. But if they were writing that across social media,
Oh yeah,
I would
I
not.
think it's devastating.
I would not be.
Or saying things that aren't true, or very one-sided. A lot of people that are in situations, and I've been in those situations or arguments, perhaps. Well, I don't really argue. I just can't be bothered. If somebody doesn't like me, I don't care. But if it was a friend that then turned against me, like you, it's a very different thing because you'd had that bond and you've had that.
You've got a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
It's like having another partner when it's a close friend. So you've got that relationship, and you know their ups and downs. That you think they know yours, and you're meant to rub along, aren't you?
Oh,
so
yeah.
it isn't nice. And I know, obviously, back when I was in a really bad place with my leg, when I was getting unpleasant stuff said about me and happening to me, I really struggled to take that because I thought, what have I ever done for you to treat me like that?
I think some people, they see their side of the story. It's all
and they see an opportunity,
yeah,
I think, as well, to take advantage when people are, and that's where it goes back to, doesn't it?
And depending on, that's the sort of person you are. I'm very quiet and silent. If I've got an issue, there's probably only about 2 or 3 people that will ever know it. And no, I would not put my huge issue on social media. If I've got beef with somebody, I'm more likely to say, do you know what, sort that out, because that's your problem, not mine. Or they've exaggerated it, or they're in victim mode, whatever that is. I just have to, for my own sake and my own good. There's a lot of things, especially like you said, groups or people sending me 10,000 conspiracy theories in like 5 minutes. I had to just walk away from it.
Conspiracy ones really get me.
Right, because...
Did you know aliens landed back round on the 21st of October, apparently?
Why that particular day?
Well, I don't know.
Is that when they flew
I didn't know how to break it to people that they've probably been here a lot longer than that, and there's a few people you could definitely think of a reptile nature. So, but yeah, the conspiracy stuff can really go to town, can't it?
That's another show, however.
Yeah, we'll do that another. But you were saying, like, people, I'm quite private, so a lot of my personal stuff doesn't go on Facebook unless I think it's funny, like the post I put up because I was out Saturday and that was funny because me and my friend turned up almost in the same clothes. So as a jokey post, we thought we'd have a picture taken together, and then we actually stayed well away from each other all night because we were clashing terribly. Thankfully there was quite a few of us out. But I've been accused, because of my business, I put a lot of generic stuff up because it's business related, but also I won't lie, it's personal to me. Some of it, not all of it, but it's also business related because we get a lot of people come through our doors with lots of things that are very similar to us, which we've said before. So if I put a generic post up, and it's usually on my story, so it's only there for 24 hours, I have been recently accused of putting it up on purpose.
I think,
Is that trolling? Who's trolling who?
No, I don't. Well, the thing is, if the shoe fits, I would
exactly
say,
what I said.
If the shoe fits, then obviously we have to perhaps look at why that has triggered us, if that makes sense. As in, I'm not talking about your post, I'm talking about anyone that would have taken offence to it. But I put up something once about mediums that shouldn't be cheating or having the opportunity to go all through the internet to try and find their information, let's say, of the person that they're reading or people that they're reading. It was a very interesting one when I put that out on Facebook. It wasn't in any way slating anyone particular.
But people did take offence, didn't they?
People took offence. And are you talking about me? All of that. I had not even thought about the people that had commented to them. I wouldn't know them and probably haven't had a reading from them, so I wouldn't know. Anyway, interesting response to it. Because if the shoe fits, my beef or issue at that point had been with somebody that we knew that wasn't being honest, and we knew that they weren't being honest. I didn't name anybody, nor did Jane, when you did your post.
Well, I don't name people. It's a generic post.
Yeah, my post was merely to say, people, if you're going to go out and get a reading, don't leave all of your social media open. Don't do all the things, I mean... I get people that have got friends on social media that come for readings. Never would I read their stuff. And even if you do read their stuff, you're not going to know all these other stuff and fine details and stuff that do come out in the readings we do that have got nothing to do with the happy smiley faces on Facebook or people that, just passed that they haven't even put on Facebook. But there are people that will literally cheat, and so
readings are much deeper than that. And so if someone is doing it through Facebook, then that you really have lost the plot, because what you should be getting is something much more deeper set. That's the person's not even really.
If they're just like, it's very flaky and generic, and they're saying what your partner looks like,
I think that's why we do get trolled as well, isn't it? Because of the nature of the work we do.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily get trolled all the time. I mean, I certainly don't.
I laugh when people recommend us on those groups. And they recommend us, and then we might like it if they've recommended us, because that's polite to say they're fake. But then you'll get the one kind of if they're that good, they would come to you. Well, it doesn't quite work like that. I always want to comment, but I don't, because I don't get engaged.
Start a whole
but I think
thing. But the thing is, if we did approach people, then we are actually doing something really bad.
We'd be like the gypsies, and that's no offence. No, we do not give people advice unless they come to us, so we wouldn't know they wanted a reading, because there's a lot of people out there, and we do actually have a life as well.
Yeah.
But also, when they go, just some of the comments, I do laugh sometimes, because I think, oh, well, if you don't believe in it, you're going to be cynical. But actually, when it's men, that's normally because they're scared.
I've got a lot of male clients at the moment.
Yeah, nothing to do with the fact they don't believe in it. They're scared. And if you're listening, that is my opinion. You don't understand it. It worries you, probably because your wife's been or your girlfriend's been, and that's what they're scared about. People like us make people that are cynical, weary of it, unpleasant, I think, for that. But we could go on. We could go on about
However,
this. And now you've got your trolling out the way.
Got trolling.
When she said I should talk about trolling, I had the Trolls in my head, the film. Is that the troll? But yeah, and the trolling is bad, and I think unless you shut social media down, trolling's not going to stop.
And if you do it, don't.
So my ending piece for that would be, if you're doing it, have a word with why you're doing it, or why. And if you write something unpleasant, my old lovely nan who used to live with me used to say, if you've got nothing nice to say, then don't say anything at all.
Oh, Thumper said that.
Well, Thumper might have said it, but my nan said it. Well, I don't know, my nan's been gone quite a few years, so I think she was around before Thumper. Well, give or take, she might have been about the same age. But, because that's actually one of the oldest films, Bambi, isn't it? Anyway, let's not do a Disney, because we have a fact checking going, oh no, Bambi's was made in this year. But she used to always tell us that, don't say anything. It's like when if you weren't there, don't repeat it. So if you weren't there, don't repeat it. And if someone is jumping on that bandwagon, don't. It's hard, because we've all been guilty of it, but I've found more and more now, if someone starts saying something, I tend to go, I either shut down altogether and say nothing, or I go, well, we weren't there, or I go, well, there's two sides to a story. I try and throw a bit of diplomatic stuff in, and then I try and change subject now, because I don't want to get involved in anything like that. So again, if you're trolling or you're being trolled, if you're trolling, ask yourself why you're doing it, and just think maybe there's something more productive you could be doing.
And don't.
And without trolling.
Yeah.
And if you're being trolled, which isn't nice, because we have been trolled and we see unpleasant stuff ourselves for others. If you are being trolled, remember those people can't see you really, and they're not. It's their issue. It's not yours. So as upsetting it is, because that old other saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names can never hurt me." I don't think that's true.
No, I think it's almost worse the other way.
Yeah, names do hurt because it's psychological, and names are, because obviously if you've got low self-esteem, or you're feeling down, or you've got mental health going on, anything, or you've had something terrible happen that day, any kind of unpleasantness is enough to rock somebody. So try and stay focused, and try and remember, people trolling are hiding behind these laptops, these computers, where we're here at the front of it giving.
And obviously not very happy people to be able to actually say such unkind things.
So we'll end it with that, where try not to let the trollers get you down, and if you are trolling, really have a word with yourself while you're doing that, and stop. Okay?
Love you all.
Yep. We will see you next week. Bye.